everybody. It's Sunday, so that means it's time for family movie night. And this week I'm doing a film that has been requested by a lot of people, and I finally decided to go for it and review Tim Burton's 2003 film, Big Fish. And this is one I've been wanting to watch for quite a while because most people that know me know that I used to be a big Tim Burton fan, and for the last 2 decades I really haven't been. I think that most of his films are at best style over substance, and a lot of them actively irritate me and bother me with the choices that he makes. And I wish that he would do original stories again, because I feel like his adaptations, for the most part, have been really bad, really bad. And I really hated Miss Peregrine's last year. I thought that was such a slog, and so yeah, and I just didn't feel any of that sense of wonder, except for one scene with these skeletons, and that we used to feel. And I feel like that CGI has kind of hurt Tim Burton, and it just makes it maybe a little too easy for him, and it's just not as creative. And I don't know, I'm not as into sort of his visual aesthetic of his more recent films like Alice in Wonderland and Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. So anyway, I have my issues with Tim Burton. Big Fish. It is a really interesting movie. I have to admit that I went into it with a completely wrong understanding of what the film was. I was thinking that it was about a boy in the circus, growing up in the circus, and that's not what it's about. In fact, the circus sequence is very short. That really surprised me. And one of the themes in pretty much all of Tim Burton's films is some kind of sort of problem with a father figure, or a overbearing father figure, a angry father figure, that kind of thing. Even in, I know he didn't direct Nightmare Before Christmas, but even have kind of a father figure in The Scientist. And in most of their movies, there's some kind of relationship. He worked it into Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, even though that's not in the book, with showing Willy Wonka's father issues, and that didn't work at all, I didn't think. And anyway, there's a bunch of different examples throughout his work of these father figure characters. Well, this one I think is the one that actually gets it right, and I think that he manages to balance his whimsy and his visual aesthetics in ways that aren't overwhelming to the story, and aren't I don't know, that are pleasing to me, and that you get just enough of it to be enjoyable, I think, without it feeling too caustic. And anyway, and so it's about this. Turns out it's not about this boy in the circus like I thought. It's actually about this father and son relationship, of course. And the father, it starts out with the father giving a toast on his on the son's wedding day about this big fish that he caught on the day that the son was born. And the son gets very mad because he's always making everything about him and him and him and him, and all of these stories that he tells. And so he's very frustrated. It's played by Billy Crudup, and the older dad is played by Albert Finney. And then what happens is he ends up coming back when his dad is about to die, and he starts hearing all the stories again. And then that's what we see play out, is the stories of his life, his dad's life, and that he's then played by Ewan McGregor as a young man. And it's just about these different people that he meets along the way, and these different experiences that he has. One point he meets a giant, one point he stumbles upon this sort of kind of magical town a little bit, and Helena Bonham Carter ends up being involved, and he ends up falling in love with this girl played by Alison Lohman as a young lady, and then as his mother, obviously, is played by Jessica Lange. And I think that they actually work. I think all of the combinations of young and old, because now they would probably like do some horrible CGI, make them look young or whatever thing. I hate that. And this works so much better. And I think that actually the combinations that they picked really feel like younger versions of, I feel like Alison Lohman does look like a younger version of Jessica Lange. It's pretty cool. And then at one point he's at a circus run by Danny DeVito, and so that's where the circus part comes in. And I don't know, there's just all these little vignettes and all these little stories along the way. And of course, like, he has sort of exaggerated the stories quite a bit and added all this whimsy and fantasy and everything like that. And I think that it's very endearing to see sort of the son get to know his father, get to understand his father, and sort of understand the power of storytelling and how we pass on sort of that legacy of ourselves through, you know, we can pass on items and money and whatever, but what really I think matters is sort of these stories that we can pass on to each other. All the performances are good, it's charming, it's sweet, it's got a nice relationship at the core. I really enjoyed that. Some of the downsides to the film, I think, is I don't think that every single vignette works equally well. Some of them felt a little too long and a little bit, I don't know, that I just kind of wish they'd been just a little tighter and just weren't as engaging as other sections. And I kind of wish we'd spent more time in the circus. I kind of wish we'd spent, like, there's a whole thing where he ends up being involved in sort of crime and stuff, and with Steve Buscemi, and that really wasn't that interesting to me. So there's just certain ones. I really liked the scenes with Alison Lohman. I could have used more with that. There's a war thing that wasn't as interesting to me. So some of these sections I thought were more compelling than other scenes. And there's certain parts that I felt dragged a little bit and that needed to be a little tighter and a little bit, you know, I don't know. I felt like they were sort of having the same lesson get learned again and again and again. So that's sort of the downside to it, I think, is in pacing, and that's a typical problem for Tim Burton. But it was tolerable, it was acceptable. I wasn't as bored I wasn't really bored. I just maybe a little restless at certain sections. That's it. And so overall, this, like I said, has a really nice heart, has a nice message. I think you can watch it with your family. There is some nudity because there's like a water spirit, and you do see she is naked. So, you know, maybe that might be a problem for some kids. Kids, I think it should be fine. And you can have a discussion about family and about storytelling and about all the different things that he's very loyal and true to his wife. He gets the opportunity, he's tempted to stray, and he doesn't, so that's another good kind of lesson you can talk about with your family. So there's lots of things in here. Is he honest? Is he, should he be more honest? Things like that. So let me know what you think of Big Fish. Is it a favorite of yours? Do you really like it, not like it? And what do you think of Tim Burton in general? What's some of your favorite Tim Burton films? Put in the comments section, and thanks so much. Please subscribe to my channel, and I'll talk to you later. Bye!